So we wanted to take a couple of minutes today to show you the new Specialzed Command Post black light. As you can see here, this is the older version we've been running now for a few months, and it's been awesome. So when we heard that they made improvements, I was very interested in trying these out. So let's go through a couple of them. First things first, this is the 75 mil drop, so roughly 3 inches. Now if you're in the market for one of these and you go in your shop, you can tell what length they are. They come in 75 or about 3-inch drop, 100 mil or about a 4-inch drop, and also right here, the big boy, the 125 mil drop. They come in various lengths. The 3-inch drop version, clear some of these out of the way. The 3-inch drop version comes in a 330 millimeter length. So it's shorter than the others, and it's also the lightest of the three. They do this partially because of a smaller rider on a 15-inch frame or a smaller frame. They're having, they would have a problem with insertion length if you were running the 4.7 or even the 4-inch drop. The 4-inch drop is 380 millimeters, and the 7 or 125 mil drop is 420 millimeter length. And so as your frame gets smaller, the seat post only goes in so far. And so by staying with this 3-inch drop and a shorter post, this enables smaller framed riders to benefit from these dropping seat posts. So a couple other cool features here. We have this quick release cable system. At first, this was I had a little bit of a hard time figuring out, but if you do, just read the owner's manual. I don't want to get too much into detail because you really should read that owner's manual, and it explains it very easily. Took about probably 10 minutes per post to get everything set up and ready to go. Nice anodized colors now, as opposed to last year that came in that pewter, which was cool looking too. But more importantly, if you look at the head, this is a bonded head, so it's very stiff. There's very little lateral play. I have ridden this now for about 50 miles. And it's stiff. I mean, you can barely tell the difference between a regular seat post and this, as opposed to some of the other model dropping seat posts that you can really feel the side-to-side play. The Command Post just doesn't have that. I mean, these are really solid posts. And last year's model wasn't an issue either. I mean, both of these are pretty much top of the game here as far as that fixed saddle positioning, where it doesn't have a lot of side-to-side play or slop. Moving on, if we go to the cable actuated lever, so this is a remote dropping lever. You can integrate this into a specialized grip, but if not, this is the configuration you'd have. Also, it's a single bolt that can be opened up quick release style, so if you want to remove the seat post and switch to a different post periodically, it's really easy. You don't have to remove your grips. And I really appreciate this because I'm constantly switching out grips and handlebars, and so this will actually kind of save me a little bit of time. So I'm looking forward to using that. An additional note, they have this here. This is a micro adjust for cable tension. So when you're out on the trail, if for some reason you need to tweak out the cable tension of your dropper seat post, these are cable actuated posts as opposed to hydraulic. It's really easy to do from the riding position. You don't have to get off your bike and mess with it. And so the way you do that, basically they supply the cables, they supply everything when you buy the Command Post that you need to get this going. You just cut the length hose or cable rather that you want, and then you splice it. You add your micro adjust. You splice the housing, make sure the cable's not in there. Otherwise you're going to be going to the bike store and buying a new cable. And then they even supply the ferrules. And so you shorten the cable to where you want the micro adjust to be. Install the micro adjust and fit the rest of the cable on the bottom. And so this was really easy to do too. You do have to have special housing cutters, which pretty much every mountain bike probably should have, so you can do your cables yourself. But if not, it's something a shop would readily have available. And so the other cool part about this is there's really nothing special that you need besides those cable cutters and a couple Allen keys. which again most people would even have in their emergency kits, or so the home mechanics, of course. Every bike shop's going to have what you need to get these things going and keep them serviced. That's minus the periodic service you would need for the internals, which even on last year's model we haven't had to mess with to date, and I don't intend to. I'm going to run these things as far as I possibly can and report to you. So when they need work done to them, when I do need to send them back to Specialized Bikes, we'll let you know. Until then, I'm going to ride them until I just can't anymore. And so you'll get a good idea of what the durability is of these command posts. And so the Blacklight is a little bit lighter than last year's model. The 70 mil version here, the shorter version, is about 500 grams, if I remember, according to the Specialized website. So just figure half a pound extra on your bike if you run any of these, roughly. For a trail bike, it's a small price to pay, weight-wise, for the performance you get. The other cool thing about a command post is these are not infinite drop seat posts, which means you can't just settle it anywhere you want within that stroke like some other companies do. These have 3 different positions. The full length position, with the shaft fully extended. Then you have on the 70 mil drop, you actually have a 1-inch drop, 25 mil roughly, and then you can slam it all the way down for descending. So the 1-inch drop is kind of a neat thing because you don't have to guess where the seat post is. There are certain times where you don't necessarily want your seat post slammed down, but you do want it a little bit lower, like a flatter, rocky section is where I'm finding the best application, where I need to put some power down, but I also want that extra mobility or maneuverability without getting hung up on the seat. And so that 1-inch drop on a larger, longer length drop post, like this 125 here, that goes all the way up to a 35 mil drop. And so you get maneuverability, you still can lay down the power, but there's no guesswork on where the saddle is. It's consistent every time you use it. And then for the really steep downhills where you just need that extra confidence, you don't want to get hung up on your seat, slamming it all the way down the whole length of the shaft here. So this one would be 4.7, 125 mil, or the 3-inch drop, really gets the saddle out of your way, and you'd be amazed at the extra confidence you get. So the half pound or so that you add, I wouldn't sweat it at all. I don't really care. I switch on and out with these posts. Every now and then I'll go to a standard post and I quickly get that the Specialized Command Post back on my bike. I've really adapted my riding style to them. I really have no desire to go back. So one of the most reliable dropping seat posts on the market. We have had 0 problems with ours, and I'm really looking forward to spending more time on the Specialized Blacklight seat post. And so stay tuned, and we'll give you updates periodically of these seat posts, and we'll see you next time. So here we go again. I wanted to show you one more thing before we close out this Tech Command Post Light seat post video. First off, this is the Specialized Phenom saddle, which I've been running on my personal rig for a while now, and I've been running this post lately. But one thing is the tilt of your nose of your saddle. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is on another brand's seat post with a similar style, little conical insert here. I've had problems getting the nose of the saddle right. It's really hard to get the saddle right on other brands. One of the things I really like about the Specialized is how easy it is to tilt this head to exactly where you want the nose position of your seat. And then you just take a 5mm Allen head, lock it down, walk away. We haven't had problems since. So it's really easy to set the tilt of the saddle, and this is another real good feature of the Specialized Command Post and the Command Post Lite. The last feature that I didn't get to on the original, first off, they have improved the seals and bushings within inside the post. I personally do like the all black too, which is cool, but not really that big of a deal. On the bottom here, see this air chamber? This controls a faster or slower spring rate, getting the saddle back to its original starting position. Again, read that Specialized owner's manual, but typically no more than 40 psi in this chamber. I'm running about 20 right now, and all the test miles will probably hit about that 20 psi mark. And so you can adjust how fast the seat post returns to its original position.